So we only have, let's see, 1, 2, we have 3 weeks left of this marking period after this week. And then we're into June. And June is really where hopefully we'll do some fun stuff. We're going to have to do a mock Regents again. I'm sorry. Because I've been told to do it. So we will be doing another mock Regents exam, a practice Regents in June. I'll probably give you like 2 or 3 weeks to do that. It will be all the sections. So it will be the multiple choice, the essay, and the text response. Hi, Nathan. And so I'll probably give you that at the beginning of June. If you're in person, we'll do some of it when you're in class, probably the essay section. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen so we can get done in a reasonable time. So yeah, 3 weeks left of the marking period, 3 and a bit. And so that means we've only got, after this week, another 3, probably 2 or 3 assignments. So make sure you're up to date with your work. I know most of you on this call right now are, but if you're not, then try and get up to date. And in June, you'll have the chance to get up to date on assignments from previous marking periods this semester, because that can bump your grade up a bit. All right, so just put present in the chat if you're here, so I know who's here. Hi, Rachel. Rachel, you got to do your attendance. Hi, Ralph. Hi, Jalen. Hi, Marcus. Hi, Naomi. Okay, so we started last week about satire. You know, satire is making fun of something for a purpose, to criticize something or to ridicule something. So we looked at some satirical devices, you know, sarcasm, irony, understatement, hyperbole. And the next couple of weeks, we're really going to look at analyzing satire, kind of in a similar way to how we analyze rhetoric, using the same kind of structure. You know, we start with identifying terms, we look at some evidence, and then we analyze the evidence. So it's a pretty similar kind of process as we used when we were talking about rhetoric. So we're going to start with this image on your screen. And this is a satirical cartoon. And sometimes when we get a piece of satire, you know, it takes us a while to work out what's going on. So what I want you to do is just to make some observations, and you're going to write them in the chat. Just things that you notice. What do you see? What's going on in this image? When I was counting, I came up with, I think, at least 8 things that we could talk about here. So let's take a few minutes while we're just waiting for other people to come. Just write your observations in the chat. Okay, let's take 5 minutes if we need 5 minutes. So if you just come, if you can write present in the chat, and also we're looking at this image on the screen, which is a piece of satire, and we're going to try and analyze this piece of satire together as practice. And we're going to start off with just writing in the chat 3 things, or as many things as you can observe or that you notice in this image, in this picture? Okay, I see a couple of very good observations. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Marcus. So yes, Mondale, you make a good point. You might want to think about what this brown substance is that is on this person. Yes. In England, we call diapers nappies. I don't know why. We call them nappies. Good. Good, Ashley. Do. Yes, do. Yeah, good. Good, Simone. Globe is at the end of the table. Yes. I want us to think about this globe. Yes, good. Good, Simone. And then think about what that means. Good. Brown stuff from his diaper. Yep. We have about a minute and a half left. I want us to also think about what is this person doing? I want you to focus on not just his hand, but his face. We have about a minute left. All right, let's take a few more seconds and then let's talk about it. Um, okay, good. So all of you made some very good observations here, right? So Nathan says Donald Trump's being portrayed as a baby. You see a globe which represents the Earth, and the tablecloth represents America. We know it's America because it's got stripes on it, right? So we may want to think if these things are representing other things, we might want to think what this piece of satire is trying to say. Marcus says Donald Trump is making America dirty, like he's contaminating it, right? Yeah, his hand is grabbing at the flag. The flag represents America. He's making it dirty. He's pulling down the flag. Brown stuff on the flag. He's wearing a pamper or a diaper. Yeah. The baby. See him reaching for the flag with his dirty hands. Yes, good. He's making America dirty. Very good, Ashley. Yeah, he's making America dirty with his poop, right? When he's reaching out for it. See him in doo-doo. It's getting on the flag. I think that he's spreading some kind of unwanted substance. Yes. And then Simone make a very good point. If he pulls the flag, right, the globe is going to drop. So we may want to think about what that means. His baby's covered in brown stuff. Yeah, he's putting down the flag. It looks like the globe is about to drop on his head. Yes. None of you mentioned what he's doing here with his mouth. What's he doing with his mouth?
That's the lips he always does when he's talking.
Yes. He does do that kind of thing, right? But he's also got his eyes closed and he's reaching out with his hand to pull the flag down, right? So doesn't it look like he's trying to kiss? Like he's puckering his lip like this, like he wants to kiss. And sometimes when you kiss someone, you close your eyes and then you go like that to kiss someone, right? So it looks to me like he's trying to kiss. Now, what's he trying to kiss? Any ideas? What's he trying to kiss? What's in front of him? Isn't he trying to kiss the flag?
The American flag?
Yeah, he's trying to kiss the flag, right? The flag's in front of him. So we know he's a baby, right? He's wearing a diaper. He's pooped himself. He's crawling on the floor. And he's grabbing the flag, and it looks like the globe is about to fall down. We know it's Donald Trump because it looks a little bit like him. Got that hair, that famous hair. His famous eyelids, for some reason, are a different color to the rest of his skin. The orange face. So, okay, so we made some good observations. And now we're kind of in a good place to kind of analyze this image. So, the next thing to think about is, why did the artist create this image? And this is, I think, pretty straightforward at this point. What is the artist trying to ridicule or expose or criticize here? Is it a person, a group of people, society, a system, a behavior, or a belief? So write down what you think in the chat. Person, group of people, society, system, behavior, or belief. Person, thank you, Nick Boy. Person, yeah. Nikoi, which person is this image satirizing specifically? Nikoi, you there? Ah, Donald Trump, yes. Clearly this is satirizing Donald Trump, right? He's dressed as a baby. All right, so this is kind of how we start off doing an analysis. Make some observations, think about what is the target of the satire, right? Who's it making fun of, or what's it making fun of? Right, so we know this is satirizing Donald Trump. And then we want to think about maybe what satirical device is the artist using, right? We looked at these last week. Irony, we've got verbal irony, which is where you say something and you mean something else, or situational irony, where something happens that you wouldn't expect. Sarcasm, which is a little bit like verbal irony, but you say it in such a way that to show that you're annoyed. Hyperbole is where you exaggerate something. Understatement, where you make it less important. Or parody, where you copy or imitate somebody or something. So how is the satire working here? Which device is being used? You can write in the chat. Okay, Nathan says hyperbole. Ralph says parody. Your thing is laggy. Sorry, Nico, to hear that. Marcus says parody. Let's take another 30 seconds if you haven't replied yet, which I know is a lot of you because I know there's a lot of people on this. Parody, because it's making fun of Trump and his way towards America or Americans. Parody, says Ashley. All right, Marcus, why did you choose parody?
I think because it's like imitating. It's like imitating like what he is, like like what he does basically, like kind of like what he did as president.
Yes, it's so we know that parody is an imitation or a copy of something. So it's where you have something that looks like someone, but it's exaggerated in some way, right? So it's clearly Donald Trump, but he's dressed as a baby, right? So it's a copy of Donald Trump, but it's not an exact copy, right? It's exaggerating or caricaturing is a word we sometimes use certain features of his. Someone pointed out that in this picture he has small hands, and that's also something that people talk about him. And as you say, Marcus, also parodying his behavior. Good. Um, Nathan, you said hyperbole. I think that's also true, right? It's an exaggeration of his behavior, so or how he is. So parody and hyperbole are very similar in that respect. A parody is kind of a hyperbolic version of somebody, if you like. So definitely parody, definitely hyperbole. I think we could also say irony. Does anyone know why I would choose irony? Thinking about what's about to happen, maybe in this image. Anybody want to speak up or write in the chat? Why might I choose irony here? In particular, situational irony.
I think it's because situational, because he will probably do one thing, but then he'll do something else probably later on that's the exact opposite.
Yeah, and if we think about, you're on the right lines, Mark, because if you think about what's happening in this image, right, he looks like he wants to kiss the flag and he's reaching towards the flag. So if you're kissing something, it means that you like it or love something, right? But at the same time, he's also making this flag dirty with his hands. He's getting feces, he's getting poop all over it, right? So that's ironic because it's something that we wouldn't expect to happen. So we could say this is also an example of situational irony.
Mr. Rick, I'm sorry I'm late.
That's no problem. Who's that? Was that? Oh, Khalid, how are you doing?
Yeah, Khalid.
We're just talking about this image, Khalid, and we're just analyzing it. So Nathan says it's ironic how he said he would make America great, but the one he ended up contaminating it. Yeah. So sometimes with these pieces of satire, we have to have a little bit of background knowledge, right? So we know that Donald Trump, his big thing was that he's going to make America great, right? He looks like he's kissing the flag because he loves America. But at the same time, he's actually contaminating or making America unclean or unpure. And that's ironic, right? That's a good way of putting it, Nathan. All right, so we've kind of answered this. This is an example of parody and something you might write, something like this, right? It's an example of parody because Donald Trump is depicted or shown as a mischievous baby, right? He's like crawling on all floors. He's pooped himself. He's in his diapers. He doesn't have really any control over what he's doing. He's covered in his own feces and he's causing havoc or trouble. So when you're analyzing a piece of satire and you say it's parody or you say it's sarcasm, you have to say why it's parody, right? And using the terms that we use to describe parody. Parody is a copy or an imitation, so you've got to say how this is parody. And if we think about why the artist is using parody, which really means what is the artist trying to say? And you know, we already talked about it a little bit before. We could say something like the artist uses parody to criticize Donald Trump in order to make him seem silly, childish, and destructive, right? The reason why the artist chose to show Donald Trump as a baby is because they want to criticize how childish he is, how silly he is, and how he's also destroying not just America, but the world, right? Because if he pulls that flag, the American flag that he loves so much, he's going to pull down that globe. So by trying to be nice or love America, he's kind of destroying the world as well. So another example is if I used irony, right? This is an example of irony because Donald Trump is shown trying to kiss America, or as Nathan says, to make America great again. But actually, he's making it dirty with his own feces. He's actually making it worse. He's making the world worse at the same time. Okay. Oh, yes, here's another example. Irony to show he's putting America's interests first, right? He's trying to kiss the flag, but actually he's making America's reputation worse abroad. Tarnish, that word tarnish means to dirty in some way. So these are all good ways of talking about how the satire is working in a piece of satire, right? First of all, you identify who's being satirized or what's being satirized, then the method, so the satirical device used, and then you've really got to explain how that device is making its point. All right, so if we look at the assignment that was posted on Monday, okay, it's number 6.2. It's called A Time Without Smartphones. And there's an article. It looks a little bit like this on the right-hand side of your screen. And then I think there's 9 questions, which are all based on the article. So you read the article. It's only about a page and a half long. And it's a piece of satire. So you're trying to analyze what this satire is trying to say, a little bit like we just did with that image of Donald Trump, okay? You'll notice on the text that there are certain passages which are highlighted. There's 3 passages highlighted in yellow and 1 passage highlighted in green, okay? And some of the questions refer to those specific passages, right? Identifying the type of rhetorical device used and what the writer is trying to satirize. And then the last question is worth 4 points. That's worth like a third of your grade for this assignment. And it asks you to choose one of the 3 sections, A, B, or C, and to explain how and why the author uses the satirical device in that section. Right? What is the writer trying to say? And then I've given you here kind of a structure as a way to answer this question. So you would choose section A, B, or C. You would write A, B, or C here. Is an example of, so is section A an example of irony or sarcasm or hyperbole? So you would write one of those words in here. Because, and then you've got to say why it's an example. If you think it's irony, why is it an example of irony? Okay, look up the definition of irony. Why would that be an example of irony? Or why hyperbole or why parody? So you write because, whatever. The author uses this satirical device to ridicule, expose, and criticize. And then you got to say, what is the artist trying to say, or the writer trying to say here? What's the point that they're trying to make? What are they trying to satirize? Okay, so that's assignment 6.3. Does anybody have any questions about the assignment or about satire in general? Everyone's good? Okay, so this shouldn't take you too long to do. It's in the quiz format, so I know some of you, you get scared when you see a Word document. So this should be easier to do, especially if you're on your phone. And I'm probably going to make the next assignment like this as well, just for ease. And I don't know, how long does it take? How long did it take you to do, Nathan, this one? Half an hour? An hour? I don't think it takes long. I don't know if Nathan's there. But yeah, it shouldn't take long to do, and it is due on Friday. All right, so that's all I really have. I'm just going to unshare my screen now. I think I'm frozen. No, I'm not. Okay, so does anybody have any questions before we go? All right, so it was nice to see you all. Enjoy the day. It looks like it's raining where I am. On Friday, we're going to do some more practice with some different pieces of satire, just so we can get in the practice of analyzing it. And then there'll be a new assignment on Monday. So unless anyone has anything else they want to say, have a good day, everybody. And if you're in blended learning, I'll see you tomorrow. And if not, if you're remote, I'll see you on Friday. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Bye,
See you
everybody. Thank you. Take care. Bye, everybody. Bye, Simone.